Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. This simple yet profound truth can change the way we approach our daily interactions and relationships. This powerful quote speaks volumes about the nature of forgiveness and personal growth. It reminds us that acknowledging our faults is the first step towards healing and improvement. It highlights the importance of taking responsibility for our actions, no matter how difficult it may seem. Owning up to our mistakes shows maturity and integrity. Admitting mistakes can be incredibly tough. It often involves confronting our own fears and insecurities, and it can feel like a daunting task. It requires humility and a willingness to face the consequences of our actions. This humility is not a sign of weakness, but rather a strength that allows us to grow. But the rewards of doing so are far greater than the discomfort we may feel initially. The sense of relief and the positive impact on our relationships can be profound. When we admit our mistakes, we open the door to forgiveness and reconciliation. This act can mend broken relationships and build stronger connections. We show others that we are willing to be accountable for our actions and that we are committed to making things right. This accountability fosters trust and respect. This act of courage can have a transformative effect on our relationships, our personal growth, and our overall well-being. By admitting our wrongs, we pave the way for a more honest and fulfilling life. Why is it so hard to admit when we're wrong? It's a common human experience to feel defensive or ashamed when we make mistakes. We worry about the judgments of others, the potential consequences, and the blow to our ego. Our pride can get in the way, making us want to protect our image and avoid looking foolish. We may even try to rationalize our actions or shift the blame onto someone or something else. This resistance to admitting fault stems from a fear of vulnerability. We worry that if we expose our imperfections, we will be rejected, ridiculed, or seen as weak. However, the truth is that acknowledging our mistakes actually makes us stronger, more trustworthy, and more relatable to others. The fear of appearing incompetent is a major obstacle to admitting mistakes. We live in a society that often values perfectionism and achievement. Admitting mistakes can feel like we are failing to meet these expectations. We may also avoid admitting mistakes because we fear punishment or negative consequences. This is especially true in situations where there is a power imbalance, such as in the workplace or in relationships with authority figures. Sometimes we simply don't want to hurt or disappoint others. We may downplay our mistakes or avoid the conversation altogether to protect the feelings of those we care about. However, in the long run, avoiding responsibility for our actions can damage our relationships and erode trust. The first step to overcoming the fear of admitting mistakes is to acknowledge that we are all human and that everyone makes mistakes. It's an inevitable part of life. Instead of viewing mistakes as failures, we can choose to see them as opportunities for learning and growth. Every mistake holds a valuable lesson if we're open to receiving it. When we shift our perspective from one of self-criticism to one of self-compassion, we create space for honesty and accountability. We can begin to see our mistakes as stepping stones on the path to becoming better versions of ourselves. This shift in mindset allows us to approach our errors with more understanding and less judgment. Section 5. The courage to confront our mistakes. Admitting mistakes requires courage. It is not an easy task to look someone in the eye and say, "I was wrong." This act demands a level of bravery that many of us struggle to muster. It means stepping outside of our comfort zones and facing the discomfort of potential negative consequences. The fear of judgment, rejection, or even punishment can be overwhelming. However, this act of courage is also an act of self-respect. By acknowledging our faults, we honor our own integrity and commitment to personal growth. When we take responsibility for our actions, we demonstrate integrity and a commitment to personal growth. This willingness to own up to our mistakes shows that we are dedicated to becoming better versions of ourselves. We show ourselves and others that we are willing to learn from our mistakes and do better in the future. This process of learning and improving is a continuous journey, one that requires constant self-reflection and a desire to evolve. This courage to confront our errors, no matter how small or large, is essential for building trust and maintaining healthy relationships. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, and it is built through honesty and accountability. It's important to remember that admitting our mistakes doesn't mean we are weak or incompetent. On the contrary, it shows strength and maturity. It simply means that we are human and that we are committed to living with honesty and integrity. By embracing our imperfections and striving to improve, we set an example for others and create a more compassionate and understanding world. Section 6. The relief of owning our errors. While admitting mistakes may initially bring up feelings of shame or guilt, it ultimately leads to a sense of relief and liberation. When we stop denying or hiding from our mistakes, we free ourselves from the burden of carrying them around in secret. This act of honesty allows us to move forward with a clear conscience and a renewed sense of purpose. We no longer have to expend energy on maintaining a facade or justifying our actions. The weight of guilt and shame is lifted, replaced by a sense of authenticity and self-acceptance. This feeling of relief can be incredibly empowering, paving the way for personal growth and stronger relationships. Section 7. Rebuilding trust through honesty. Admitting mistakes is crucial for building and maintaining trust in relationships. It's not always easy to own up to our errors, but doing so is a powerful step towards genuine connection. When we are honest about our errors, we show others that we are trustworthy and accountable. This act of honesty demonstrates our integrity and willingness to grow. This vulnerability fosters an environment of open communication and mutual respect. It encourages others to be open and honest as well, creating a cycle of trust and understanding. It allows relationships to deepen and strengthen, even in the face of challenges. When we face difficulties together with honesty, we build resilience and a stronger bond. On the other hand, when we try to hide or downplay our mistakes, we erode trust and create distance in our relationships. The fear of being discovered can lead to anxiety and further complications. The truth has a way of coming out eventually, often when we least expect it. The longer we hide it, the more damage it can cause. And when it does, the consequences of our dishonesty can be far more damaging than if we had simply admitted our mistakes from the start. The pain of betrayal can linger and affect future interactions. By choosing honesty and transparency, we create a foundation of trust that can withstand the inevitable ups and downs of life. This foundation is essential for lasting and meaningful relationships. Section 8. Personal growth through accountability. Admitting our mistakes is not only essential for our relationships, but also for our personal growth. When we take responsibility for our actions, we gain valuable insights into our strengths and weaknesses. We can identify patterns of behavior that may be holding us back and develop strategies for improvement. This process of self-reflection and accountability allows us to learn from our experiences and evolve as individuals. Each mistake becomes an opportunity for growth, pushing us closer to becoming the best versions of ourselves. By embracing our mistakes as learning experiences, we transform them from setbacks into stepping stones on the path to personal development. Section 9. Embracing vulnerability, inspiring forgiveness. When we admit our mistakes, we embrace our vulnerability and inspire forgiveness in others. It shows that we are willing to let go of our pride and ego in order to make things right. This act of humility and courage can be incredibly disarming, creating space for compassion and understanding to flow. It allows others to see our humanity and connect with us on a deeper level. By being open and honest about our imperfections, we create a ripple effect of forgiveness and acceptance, both within ourselves and in our relationships with others. This willingness to be vulnerable paves the way for healing, growth, and stronger connections. Section 10. A call to courage and authenticity. Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. This quote serves as a powerful reminder that we all make mistakes and that true strength lies in our ability to acknowledge and learn from them. Let us choose courage over comfort, honesty over pride, and vulnerability over perfection. By embracing our imperfections and taking responsibility for our actions, we open ourselves up to a world of forgiveness, growth, and deeper connections. Remember, it is in our mistakes that we often discover our greatest strengths and learn the most valuable life lessons.